Hey, everybody, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
We love to just go deep on some really cool topics. And today we're talking about something that's maybe a little out there, but super fascinating.
Out there is right up my alley, so I'm excited.
I am too. I'm really pumped for this one. So we're going to be talking about AI and parapsychology research, which,
Oh, wow.
yeah, right. I know it's a wild combination, but
Stick with me.
yeah, I'm intrigued already.
Okay, so first off, for anyone who's like, wait, what is parapsychology? It's basically the study of like psychic phenomena, stuff that's beyond our normal senses.
Exactly like telepathy or clairvoyance,
Yeah.
even things like psychokinesis.
Right. PK, the whole moving things with your mind thing. And that's actually a big focus of our deep dive today. Specifically, some really intriguing Soviet research on PK that we've got a couple of sources for.
Yeah, this is some Cold War era stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
One's a U.S. Naval postgraduate school thesis from 1978 that kind of analyzes how the Soviets were approaching parapsychology, right? And the other's a research paper from 1993 that actually details some of the experiments they were doing. It's crazy, some of this stuff.
It really is. I mean, what's striking right off the bat is how much the Soviets were investing in this research. The thesis suggests it could have been as much as $21 million a year.
21 million. That's wild,
Yeah.
especially compared to what the U.S. was spending. It really shows you how seriously they were taking this whole psychic race.
Oh, yeah, they definitely saw it as a potential strategic advantage. You know, the thesis even mentions that the KGB seized a document on parapsychology from a U.S. journalist. Like, they were not playing around.
Wow. Yeah, that's some serious spy stuff. But okay, let's get into the actual research. So this 1993 paper, it outlines a bunch of experiments where they had individuals trying to influence different things with their minds.
Right, and some of these are really fascinating. Like one experiment used these things called microcalorimeters, which are super sensitive instruments that can measure tiny changes in temperature.
What were they doing, though?
They had operators try to mentally influence the temperature readings, and they actually observed changes that went beyond what you'd expect from just normal fluctuations.
Wait, so they were like changing the temperature with their minds.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
And in some cases, these operators were miles away from the microcalorimeters, even in like shielded environments.
Okay, now that's just trippy. If that's really happening, it suggests something totally beyond our current understanding of physics.
Absolutely. It challenges everything we think we know about energy transfer. And it gets even weirder.
Weirder. How?
They also did experiments with electric noise generators, which produce these random electrical signals. You can picture it, right? Just this constant chaotic stream of electrical noise.
Gotcha.
So they had operators try to mentally impose some kind of order onto that randomness.
Like trying to make static turn into music or something.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. And what's amazing is that in some cases, they actually saw this ordering effect, where the random signals started showing these periodic patterns during the influence attempts.
Whoa, seriously. So we're talking about measurable changes in electrical signals, potentially caused by the human mind. That's where I start to think, okay, maybe AI could help us make sense of all this.
Exactly. AI's ability to analyze huge data sets and spot subtle patterns could be invaluable here. Imagine feeding it all the data from these experiments, the temperature readings, the electrical signals, maybe even brainwave data from the operators.
Yeah, AI could potentially see connections that we humans just miss because we're not wired to process that much information.
Right. It could tell us if there's really something statistically significant happening, or if it's just random chance.
Okay, so AI could help us separate the real deal from the wishful thinking. That's huge. But what else could it do?
Well, remember that ordering effect we were talking about with the noise generators. AI could be trained on that data to identify the specific signal patterns that show up when someone's successfully influencing the generator.
Oh, so like AI could learn to recognize a psychic signature.
Exactly. It's a fascinating possibility. And once it's learned that signature, it could be used in all sorts of ways, like maybe to train people to be better at PK, or even to build AI systems that can replicate or amplify those effects.
Okay, now that is getting really mind-blowing. We're talking about potentially training psychic super soldiers or creating AI that can manipulate the physical world in ways we can't even imagine.
The implications are pretty wild, right? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've still got a lot more to explore.
That's true. But before we do, let's take a quick break, and then we'll dive even deeper into this crazy world of Soviet parapsychology and the potential role of AI in it all.
And it wasn't just influencing machines. They were interested in some of the Soviet research involved bio-PK, the idea of influencing living organisms with the mind.
Okay, so now we're talking plants,
Yeah,
animals. Did they try to, like, make a dog fetch with their minds or something?
Maybe not dog tricks, but they did do experiments with plant growth. They'd have operators try to either stimulate or inhibit the bioelectric activity of plants.
Did it work?
They actually saw statistically significant effects on the plant's growth rates.
So they were like speed-growing plants with their minds. What kind of superpower is that?
It sounds pretty impressive, right? And these were controlled experiments with, statistical analysis to back up the claims. But it gets even more interesting when they started working with electricity-generating fish.
Okay, you're going to have to explain this one.
Yeah.
What do fish have to do with mind powers?
So there are certain species of fish, like electric eels, that can generate these powerful electric pulses for hunting or defense.
Right, I've seen those nature documentaries.
Exactly. So researchers had operators try to mentally influence the frequency of those pulses to basically slow them down.
And did it work? Could they actually mess with the fish's electricity?
They actually saw statistically significant changes replicating earlier research by a scientist named Protasov.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm.
So they're messing with the biological processes of living creatures, from plants to fish, potentially with just their minds.
It's some pretty mind-blowing stuff. And that's where I think AI could really come in and help us understand what's going on.
Yeah, how so?
Well, imagine you have an operator trying to influence, say, a plant's growth. And while they're doing that, you're recording all sorts of data, the plant's bioelectric signals, the operator's brainwaves, even subtle environmental factors. AI could analyze all that information in real time, looking for those tiny correlations and anomalies that might reveal how the influence is happening.
So we're not just observing these effects, but
Yeah.
actually trying to figure out the mechanisms behind them.
Exactly. We can go from, whoa, that's weird, to, aha, so that's how it works.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
And think about the potential applications. If we could understand how the mind might interact with living systems at a fundamental level, it could revolutionize medicine, agriculture, maybe even our understanding of consciousness itself. Okay, now my mind is officially blown. We're talking about a whole new paradigm for healing, for growth, maybe even for communication.
It's exciting to think about, but let's maybe rein it in a bit and talk about some more concrete ways that AI could be applied to this research in the near future.
Yeah, good idea. So what are some of the low-hanging fruit, so to speak?
Well, one area where AI could make an immediate impact is in data analysis. Parapsychology research often generates huge amounts of data, but it can be really tough to analyze all that by hand.
Yeah, I can imagine.
AI could sift through all that data much faster and more efficiently, identifying subtle patterns that humans might miss.
So it's like AI is a superpowered research assistant helping us separate the signal from the noise.
Exactly.
I know.
And AI could also be used to design and run experiments in a more automated and standardized way, which would help to reduce human error and bias and lead to more reliable results.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If we're dealing with these subtle effects, we need to make sure our experiments are as rigorous and objective as possible.
Absolutely. And remember those psychic signatures we talked about earlier? AI could be used to develop sophisticated biofeedback systems that could help train people to enhance their PK abilities.
So instead of just hoping to stumble upon people with these abilities, we could actually train them systematically.
Exactly. Imagine a system that monitors your brainwaves and gives you real-time feedback on how to achieve those optimal influence states.
That's wild. We're
Yeah.
talking about taking something that's always been seen as this mysterious, unpredictable thing and turning it into a skill that can be learned and honed.
It's a pretty radical idea, right? And that's just the beginning. As AI technology continues to advance, the possibilities for applying it to parapsychology research are practically limitless. We could develop AI-powered sensors to detect subtle energy fluctuations, AI-driven systems to personalize bio-PK treatments, even AI models that could simulate and test different theories of how mind-matter interaction might work.
It sounds like we're on the verge of a whole new scientific revolution, one that could totally reshape our understanding of the mind and its capabilities. I mean, what if we could actually prove that the mind can influence the physical world, and what that mean for our understanding of reality?
It's a question that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries. And now, with the help of AI, we might actually be able to find some answers.
It's definitely food for thought. But hey, speaking of food, I'm actually getting kind of hungry.
Me too. Maybe we should take a break and grab a bite to eat. We can pick this up again later.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm still thinking about all those crazy experiments those Soviet researchers were doing.
Me too.
Yeah.
Some of them were really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Especially those ones where they were trying to heal mice. that had been exposed to, like, lethal doses of radiation,
Yeah, those are pretty wild, especially that one where the operator was in Yalta, hundreds of miles away from the mice in Moscow.
and he was still able to influence their survival rate.
It seems that way according to the research. If that's really happening, it suggests a whole new level of healing potential.
And if AI could help us understand and harness that potential, the implications for medicine would be huge.
Imagine a world where we could treat everything from chronic pain to life-threatening diseases, potentially even remotely.
Yeah, no more hospitals, no more surgeries, just like AI-powered bio-PK healing pods.
Something like that, right? An AI system could analyze a patient's bioenergetic profile and then tailor a specific bio-PK treatment for their condition. It could even monitor their progress in real time and adjust the treatment as needed.
We're talking about a whole new form of medicine based on the power of the mind.
It sounds like science fiction, but who knows? Maybe that's the future of healthcare.
It's definitely exciting to think about. And it's not just about physical health, right? What about mental and emotional well-being?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
AI could play a huge role in mental health care, too. Imagine an AI system that could analyze your thoughts and emotions in real time.
Like a super advanced mood ring.
And kind of. It could identify negative thought patterns and then guide you towards a more positive state of mind.
So it's like having a therapist inside your head.
Exactly. It could help you overcome anxieties, manage stress, even unlock your creative potential.
AI is a life coach,
Yeah.
a therapist, a personal growth guru. It's mind-blowing.
And it's not just about treating existing conditions. AI could also be used for personal growth and self-discovery.
Yeah, like helping you identify your strengths and weaknesses, overcome limiting beliefs, develop your full potential.
It's all about using AI to empower people to become the best versions of themselves.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of really big ideas here, but what are some more practical, down-to-earth applications of AI in parapsychology that we might see in the near future?
Well, one area that comes to mind is lie detection.
Oh yeah, like those polygraph tests they use in crime shows.
Exactly. But imagine combining that technology with AI's ability to analyze microexpressions, those tiny facial movements that can betray a person's true emotions.
So we're talking about a lie detector that can actually read your mind.
Well, not quite read your mind, but definitely detect deception with much greater accuracy than current methods.
That would be huge for law enforcement, national security, even just everyday interactions.
And it's not just about catching liars. AI could also be used to enhance communication, especially in situations where verbal language is limited or impossible.
Like for people who are nonverbal or have language barriers.
Exactly. Or even people who are in comas. AI could help us bridge those communication gaps and connect with people in ways that were never possible before.
What about communication with animals? Could AI help us decode their thoughts and emotions?
That's a really fascinating possibility. If we could understand animal communication, it would revolutionize our relationship with the natural world.
We could finally know what our dogs are thinking.
Well, maybe not everything, but we could definitely get a much better understanding of their needs, their behaviors, even their consciousness.
Wow, this deep dive has really opened my eyes to the incredible potential of AI in parapsychology. It's not just about proving or disproving psychic phenomena, but about using this technology to explore the mysteries of the mind, enhance human capabilities, and connect with the world in profound new ways.
It's a journey into uncharted territory full of both promise and challenges. But if we proceed with curiosity, open-mindedness, and a commitment to ethical development, I think the future of AI and parapsychology could be truly extraordinary.
Well said, I couldn't agree more. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, keep exploring the mysteries of the universe.